Hello everybody, today might be a two-parter video, even if it will be 12 minutes of video. Today's topic will be talking about what I would do for a what remains game. I don't mean in that way. I mean what I would put in the game if I were to work on it.
Sorry for changing the AI voice. I forgot what the name of the AI was. So let's get right to it.
Yes, sir!
So let's begin. I will do this as I did with my iceberg videos. Go ahead and check those. Character customization. Because this is a zombie game, I wouldn't want it to have too much character customization, but at least some, like different outfits you could acquire through the story. The story gameplay. This might be parted into its own sections. So beware. Section 1. The story begins with a cutscene Scott Blackwell watching the news when he hears about the virus's rumor. He goes to investigate. Nick crashes his car, and all of the stuff that happened in the original story happens until a certain point. When Nick gets onto the JJJreact truck and is driven to the base, the game skips to the next day, and you are taken to play as Nick for the first part. You wake up as him and play as him for a while. When the fall of the Richmond base happens, you will have to play as Jared and drive out of the base as zombies come after you from the noise until you stop in Norfolk and go to Grandpa Porter's house. From this point forward, you will play as Jared, but not only as him, as Jared might be the game's main character, he won't be the only playable character in the story. Sometime you will need to play as Terrence, Omir, Alex, or anybody important else. Afterward, you and Nick go to the town's abandoned bar, and Nick is eaten by zombies. Jared runs away. Then, a cutscene is played where you see Omir for the first time, helping Scott and giving him water. Later, Jared is seen again, and there he meets Kanan, who is the son of Jared's ex-JJJreact boss. After he and Kanan talk, Jared goes back to his house. On the way to his house, he sees Omir climbing a building and Scott on the road and begins running after Scott on the road until he chased him down to a beach, where he starts beating Scott. Scott manages to escape Jared, and Jared doesn't run after him, but lies on the beach crying. Omir goes back to the escapees, and they chat about how stupid it was of him to talk to Scott. Another the next day. Displays with the date below the text, Jared is seen waking up on the beach. With a baby sea turtle on him, the POV moves to the escapees, as Luke commands them to go do some mission. Mike and Maya wander into the city, and then we see Jared again. He gets up and starts wandering the city too. He sees Mike and Maya and rushes to his grandpa's house from the back door. Grabs his grandfather's AK-3 and hides in the closet. Mike approaches the house and comes inside. He goes through every room and eventually finds the locked room where Jared was. Mike tries breaking in and eventually does. He finds Jared, disarms him, and takes him to the base where he introduces Jared to the escape. Jared calls out Omir, but he doesn't hear him, and then Luke shouts at him. Omir turns around and sees them. Jared explains how he saw Omir climbing that building the other day. The team and Jared talk a bit until Jared tells them to close the lights and be quiet. 'Twas because he had heard a helicopter in the distance, and he didn't want the helicopter to see the lights on, as that would be dangerous for them, because it meant that somebody might have been living in the Vinland beach house. Finally, Maya comes back and questions Jared's identity, he explains himself. Then Jared asks for binoculars and sees the helicopter landing on a roof. That helicopter belonged to Kanan, who Jared was quote-unquote friendly with. Jared leaves the beach house. The team talks a bit, then another gameplay moment happens where you need to walk up the building to Kanan and talk to him. When you reach the top, a cutscene plays of Jared and Kanan talking. But in games like Dying Light and the Spare Spider-Man game, you will have inner cutscene interaction, where you will need to press a button on the screen to do something in the cutscene. Whatever key you have for that, Jared will need to press a key to kick Kanan's sniper to prevent him from shooting the beach house and then again. And then a run begins. You will need to jump across buildings and stuff, and if you fall get caught, a cutscene will play of either Kanan strangling you to death or you fall to your death. Kanan chases after Jared for a while. The escapees try to help Jared by shooting Kanan. The two run until they arrive at the beach. Kanan shoots Jared in the near foot and Jared falls from the shock trauma. Jared crawls towards the beach house. Kanan keeps running and then jumps on Jared. The two have a small fist fight, but Jared scots Kanan and throws him off. Jared runs to the beach house and Kanan shoots him. He enters it, and a cutscene plays of Maya and Mike coming downstairs, and Omir hugs Maya to comfort her. Jared asks for his gun back and some ammo. Luke tells them a plan, and the team all go out of the beach house, where they see Kanan. Here, you will play as the escapees as they begin shooting at Kanan while Mike helps Jared. After attacking Kanan, he survives and goes to the helicopter. He commands his men to shoot at the team, but they quickly win, so Kanan flies away. After all the noise, a zombie herd is seen from Omir's point of view, and the team looks for a way out of there where they find a boat. You will need to hotwire the boat in a hotwire gameplay similar to Project Zomboid's hotwiring mechanics. Afterward, the team will get on the boat and sail away. When you go back to playing, the story continues from Jared's POV. You and the escapees encounter an ID-RU boat, which you as Jared will have a telltale gameplay, where you need to convince the soldiers on the ship that you're a part of the EDRU. If you lose, you die, and then you have to retry this mission. If you succeed, a shark jumps on the EDRU boat. You continue sailing, and then a time skip of a few hours happens. At 2 a.m., you are Jared. Looking around, you spot land. Jared alerts the team, and they arrive at a shore. They get up and start walking when they reach the beach. They all get off the boat. A zombie walks over in the darkness, and it gets shot. A man walks over and sees you. He helps the escapees and lets them into the town. On your map, even when you leave Wilmington, if you want to explore the open world, Wilmington will be a safe zone. The team enters the town and argues a bit. Jared takes the apartment keys from the man, who is actually the town sheriff. Here you will have a small gameplay part where you walk Jared to his bed. The next morning is shown. The team all wakes up and goes to eat. After eating, Jared calls the sheriff and asks for the car keys. The team gets to their car. Everything's chilled. You, as Omir, drive to Roanoke Rapids, pass a zombie horde, and go through a cornfield. When you finally arrive at Roanoke, the whole team goes to a forest and opens their flashlights. You reach the cabin where Luke's friends were and only find bodies. Luke's friend's body. Luke was enraged. Alright, you know what, guys? This section is so long. I don't want the video to be an hour, so if you want, I'll make a full video about the story gameplay. The DLCs. Every good game needs a few DLCs, so if this game existed, it would have some. My ideal DLCs are a Dying Light X What Remains DLC, a DLC called Fractured Past, which explores the 3-day fall, and a DLC called Tales of Scott, which you will play as Scott doing everything he did. The Fractured Past should have only been the 3-day fall, but I feel like only including that would have been boring, so I would throw some other stuff like the escapes forming and stuff, and maybe make a game pack with car spray or character outfit of the copyverse. Modes. The story, in my opinion, should have quite a lot of modes. I really liked how difficulty modes were done in God of War, Ragnarok, and I believe that the What Remains game could have a similar way of doing this. The mode, in my opinion, should be Story Mode Hard 10 years of experience, and give me the Rat King. Each mode will have less and less story mode implanted into it and more gameplay, but in Give Me the Rat King, which is a reference to Give Me the God of War, would do something similar to Dying Light and change the story a bit, but not too much. Characters. I do not believe we should exclude any characters from the story to the game, but here's a list of every character that will be in the game, as I know that the AI would make mistakes saying them. I'd rather just write it. Menu screen. For the menu screen, my friend made this concept, which I think is pretty cool, but me myself, I would like there to be a continue, new game, time leg, shop, and DLC section where you can play the playable DLC. Collabs. Like I said in the DLC, I would have liked to collab with Dying Light, as I have played it myself and I really liked it, but some other collabs would be nice, like Fortnite. With Fortnite, I think What Remains should make a comic as they did with Marvel and DEC. I would also like to collab with other zombie media, like The Walking Dead and The Last of Us. For NPCs, I would put them in safe zones, which depend on your story progression. Like, let's say you were Nick in the first part of the game. You will not have any safe zones, but the Edru base will be a safe zone for you once you become one of them. The same for when you join Wilmington, as the escapees, Jackson as Terrence and Alex, or Starkville as the escapees again. Sometimes you will find survivor NPCs in the wild, which you will be able to trade with. But in safe zones, you can buy new weapons. Online mode. Similar to Dying Light, The Last of Us, and many more, zombie games are somewhat known to have online modes, which I don't really know what direction I would go with it. You can go with a classic direction of joining games through codes, or maybe having servers to join yourself where people just roam around, or have people create servers like in GTA with roleplay and stuff.
Artlist.io.
Well, that was it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and would like the game. Like if you liked the video, and if not, why'd you watch it? I will see you guys on the next one. I was Chomper, and don't make me chomp your head off.